Hi everybody, welcome to Jane S. Farms, and today I thought I would run through kind of my process of buying breeding stock rabbits from a breeder and kind of what I look for and different things like that in a rabbitry and of course the actual rabbit itself. Now, if you're getting into rabbits for the first time, that's kind of the way you're going to have to go. Now me, I only buy buck rabbits from different people, just to kind of keep the lines fresh and different things like that whenever I breed rabbits. So, okay, some of the things to consider before buying a rabbit from a rabbitry. Ask to tour their rabbitry. Now, if they don't want you to see how they're raising their rabbits and see what their operation looks like, then just walk away. Because a lot of times, if they're not willing to show you how their rabbits are raised, you probably don't want to see how they're being raised. So really, if they don't want you to see it, I would actually run away. I wouldn't even monkey with that. So, okay, and people that do let you see their operation, kind of some things to keep a lookout for. Look at the cages. Are they decently clean? I mean, I know a rabbit cage isn't going to be, completely squeaky clean, but are they decently clean? Is there fresh water and feed for each rabbit? Or is there any odor coming from the cages? I know with rabbits you are going to get some odor, especially on a hot summer day. It is, but what I'm talking about is, obviously nasty smells and odors and ammonia, things like that. So kind of keep an eye out for that. And then look at the overall condition of the animals. Are they, do they look well fed? Do they look cared for? And things like that. So if it's nice and clean, the rabbits look nice. You can have an old rundown looking cage, but it still serves the purpose of housing that animal properly. It doesn't mean the animal's not well cared for. Some of my cages are all of my cages are repurposed, so they don't look brand new, but the rabbits are comfortable and they have a good home inside that cage. So just kind of keep that in mind. The cages don't have to be brand new. All right. Whenever I'm considering a rabbit for purchase, I always handle the rabbit. And when I mean handle it, I am checking for anything that I'm going to be checking for whenever I evaluate any of my young rabbits. So, what I do is I ask to see the animal, and I ask to be able to check the animal over. And here's kind of the list of different things that I check for. I have another video that kind of details that, and it is the, it's the video that I made on evaluating and choosing your breeding stock. So if you want to go look at that, it's got more detail. I'm just going to run through a quick list here for you. Okay. Structural correctness. You want a nice, even structure on that animal. It helps with the longevity of the animal. You need to check their teeth, make sure they are not chipped, broken, have gaps, they're not too long. If you can, check for any abscesses, anything like that. Clear nose, eyes, and ears. You want to make sure that there are no ear mites. No ear mites. Ear mites are horrible little bugs, and it's pretty hard to get rid of them. So check for ear mites. Make sure that their nose is not runny. It's clean. Their eyes are nice and bright. They're alert. You need to check their feet. Make sure they don't have any sores, missing or broken toes or toenails. Now, if they have missing toes, you may ask why they have a missing toe. I've had a few rabbits that the mothers had chewed off their toes when they were babies, and they were just fine, and I knew that it wasn't something that was genetic. So just kind of, if you notice there's a missing toe on a rabbit, ask. But usually breeders are not going to be trying to sell rabbits that have missing toes, unless they don't know about it, which they should, because they should have already evaluated these rabbits before they wanted to sell them as breeding stock. Now, the Fryers are different. Fryers, you don't really necessarily have to look into any of that stuff. So, okay, their tail, make sure it isn't broken or missing. You need to verify the sex of the rabbit. Verifying the sex is very important. Don't take their word for it. Just make sure you verify it, because you don't want to get home and find out that you purchased all buck rabbits, because that would not be good. Okay, look at the overall finish of the rabbit. Ask to see their parents if possible. That way you can kind of gauge, maybe how big they're going to get, or the performance or the longevity. If you have a kit that, or excuse me, not a kit, a rabbit that you're looking at, and their mother has been in their breeding program for a really long time, that means that genetic line is built for longevity. So those are some of kind of the things you want to kind of keep into consideration. One thing you kind of want to take into consideration also is how are they raising their rabbits? Is it close to how you're raising yours, or how you maybe want to raise yours? So the more similarities their breeding program is to yours, the better your rabbits are going to perform for you. So kind of take that into consideration as well. You can ask for registration if the rabbits are registered. Before you even go, ask what breeds they raise, if you want a specific breed. And then if you decide to purchase one of the rabbits, one of the questions that I always ask is, what are they feeding them? And what percentage of protein is in that feed that they are feeding them. Because if you switch the protein content on a rabbit sometimes too quickly, it can kind of give them some diarrhea. So kind of get an idea of the protein percentage that they're giving their rabbits at the time. Because some of them are pretty high protein and some of them are on the lower spectrum. It just really depends on the brand of rabbit feed that they're using. Okay. You can also ask if they show their animals, if they have show stock, how they do, different things like that. So, okay, and the last thing I've written here, ask about the history of their rabbitry. It's always kind of fun to know how and why they got started. A lot of people are very proud of their rabbitries, and they're willing to tell you all about it. So anyway, this is kind of the system that I use whenever I do actually go purchase a buck rabbit. Now, very rarely do I purchase a doe. She has to be pretty exceptional for me to want to purchase her. And then even then, if she is, then they're usually asking a pretty good price for her that I'm not willing to pay. So, just kind of keep these in mind when you go to purchase some of your rabbits. There are many different ways you can raise your rabbits, so just kind of, pick and choose and have fun doing it. Picking out rabbits is kind of fun. So anyway, I hope this was helpful for you guys. Any questions, feel free to ask, and you guys have a good day. Take care.